Hello there. This is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Why I never had red pill rage. Yeah, I was listening to a video the other day by the master teacher BGS on his woman's channel, talking about red pill rage, right? And I was listening to it, and I got a confession to make, yo. I got a confession to make. Intellectually, I understand red pill rage. Intellectually. But I've never had red pill rage, right? And y'all say, well, what's wrong with Rom? He's never had that red pill rage. Look, understand something. And I discussed this back in that video I did, how Ron Wills learned the game, right? About my background and everything, my childhood. And, if you don't feel like going to find the video, and I'll put it in the description box if you don't feel like watching. I say, when I was little, I say between the ages of 6 and 10, I lived in Southeast DC, and with my mother and sister. And I'll say it like this. Even though Southeast had a reputation of being, a bad place, it was alright. But then my mother wants to be on some other stuff. And, instead of associating with good church folk or people like that, for whatever reason, all the dregs in that neighborhood seemed to find their way to, the house we were renting, which ironically was owned by my grandmother, right? And let's just say you saw everything, like just starting from my mother and her choices of mates, right? Like I had written someplace, like one of the guys she dated was like a heterosexual Omar, just from The Wire, right? He was actually a cool dude, street soldier cat, right? But then, I come home from school one day, she dealing with the neighborhood bum, who ironically looked like that character Bubbles from The Wire. Man, so you starting there, and then she had some associates coming in and out of there who, like if they had a woman's version of The Wire, because if you look at The Wire, it's mostly male dominated, right? But if you had a woman's version of The Wire, this could be the cast. These women were into some stuff, and I never publicly say how bad I just say it was bad. But when the police who removed us, me and my sister, from my mother's custody, were asking us some questions and stuff, when they asking, well, did you see the women that were in here, talking about my mother's quote unquote friends, when you see, did you see, these women walking around doing this where they half naked? It's like, well, yeah. Did you see them having sex? Not with each other. Several guys were coming in through there. You done seen women's nature. After that, it was some stuff that I remember saying some human beings don't have to live like this. Like, speaking of The Wire, in some cases, that character Michael, that young killer dude, I kind of relate to him in some ways. I'm like, damn. I'm laughing about it now, but, and I don't want to get too much into that. But, I done seen women's nature right close up as a little kid. If you used to it, you just like whatever. It's like years later, and I've always said I worked in gyms. I remember I worked in this one gym, and there was this one single mother in there, right? And she had a nice body and everything, but she had been passed around by the good bars, not working in, but many of the good bars in the gym, right? And sometimes I look at her son, and I just say, that dude ain't gonna be shocked by nothing a woman does. And even further with even women in my family, they weren't always on that little ratchet shit or anything. Most of them, anyway. But they didn't have any problems getting men. You can see how they were playing men and everything. And how they were working it. And then, I'll visit my grandfather sometime, and that dude had a different woman every week. Like, literally, to the point I was just like, I just got used to calling him ma'am. Only one I remember was the one that stuck to him, like right before his death. Like, I guess she won out. Ironically, she was a plain Jane type, an adjustable 7. The other ones will fly, but even like some of his girlfriends, I remember one was trying to manipulate me to do something I would have did anyway. So you were seeing it at all angles. This is as a kid before I like reached my 10th birthday. So it wasn't a question. Anything any woman did in adult life never shocked me. Seriously, it's never shocked me. See, the whole point was I've never had that red pill rage, because I was kind of born in Zion. I was seeing it from, I was never really plugged in. In fact, it was as I was a teenager in early adulthood, that's when I realized everybody else didn't have the same experiences. And the irony is, I wasn't like a little player or anything, but I saw enough. It was interesting though, because I really wasn't a nice guy and I wasn't a player, right, at first. Because basically I wasn't like some guy who could get it taken advantage of, because I done seen the games women play, like I said, before my 10th birthday. So, I'm sitting back, I'm like, shit. A woman tried to run something on me. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I wasn't shocked, but it was kind of like you accept it. It's kind of like you accept that if you living in a poor neighborhood, dilapidated neighborhood, there's going to be some rats. So I just accepted whatever. I ain't get mad about it. See, one thing with the red pill rage, many men are raised to believe stuff about women, a woman's nature, that really doesn't match the reality. They believe the illusions, and part of it is, they see their mom and everything. I mean, they see their mom, and the mom don't really tell them anything. Mom don't explain anything to them, and they see them. Any boy is going to see their mom is perfect, because she got breast. She nurtured them. Hopefully, notice I said hopefully. Right, but if you're a young boy and you see the other side of your mom, or you see in like the associates, you ain't shocked by what anything else any women do. You're not, and even just going through the neighborhood and everything, right? Like I said, I think I said in a video, first time a little girl showed me her stuff freely without me having to do anything, I was 8 years old. I mean, she showed it. God, shoot. We playing chase and she letting herself get caught. So it's like, that's why there's a lot of stuff I'm calm about. In fact, I know there's some dudes who probably come to my channel, subscribe, thinking I'm going to just go in hard on women, or wonder why I don't go in hard on women. And then they get mad. And then they, I'm sure some of them think, oh, Ron don't know anything. Yeah, whatever. It's just you calm with it. If you grow up in a certain situation, I'll use The Wire as an example. Everybody saw that show. If you grow up in all of that, the shit's normal until somebody shows you something else. In fact, you thinking somebody that's living normal in a functional environment, you think something's wrong with them at first. Seriously, that's how it was for me coming up. Because of course, once you get that vision of life, you don't see stuff the way other people do. And sometimes I feel for the guys, and sometimes I really do feel for the guys in a way that didn't see that. But at the same time, I'm like, you kind of lucky you didn't, man. That makes you jaded as fuck, man. Because then it's like, it makes you jaded as fuck. It really does. So you just like, hey, whatever. But at the same time, that's why if somebody say something, I'm not shocked. Like one of my videos the other day, and she know who she is. This young lady said she didn't want her husband to see this video I did on gold digging, right? And I took the meeting right away. I ain't have a problem with it, to be honest. Because, I mean, I've been seeing it since I was little. I've been seeing women getting down. That's probably why I like women of that ilk. I'll use that term. Women of that ilk get along with me because I'm like comfortable with them. They can't say or do anything that shocks me. And that's also part of why I do what I do, to try to tell other men, hey, this is what it is. Now, it don't mean you have to be some cold-blooded player, because like I said, I wasn't a player at first. I was still basically a nice guy. I was just a nice guy you wasn't going to play because I done seen everything. I already knew it. As soon as you come out your mouth trying to get something out of me, I was like, boom. Now, it's not to say I didn't get played anyway a few times, because it happens. You say, no matter who you are, somebody can get you. But for the most part, even in those few instances, I wasn't like surprised or shocked or mad or anything. I was more mad at myself. It's like, damn, I knew better. Yeah, so it is what it is. I mean, one of the things, and I was talking with a player about this. A real player about this, right? As men, you just gotta get comfortable with it. Now, I don't mean every woman is evil, and I think that's one of the unfortunate things about men when they get that red pill raised. They seeing every woman. It's like, no, it's like this. It's really like this with women. It's good, or human beings really. There's good and bad, because I'll use that example of the gold digger types and. The women in the game, the real women in the game, the strippers, prostitutes, and stuff like that. They can be bad in a way if you're looking at it from that angle. But at the same time, if you kind of in with them, they take care of you. They cool. They'll hook you up. I've had women like that, like, get money to me. And no, I've never been a pimp or anything. But, they'll talk to you and stuff, because I ain't judge them. I was like, do you, girl? So they just tell me stuff. So, I come back and try to tell men. But I wanted to share that because it's something. And like I said, I'm that person. I've experienced a lot of stuff, but I've never experienced red pill rage. And perhaps because, I don't know, maybe I was drinking. It wasn't like the pill. It was like, oh, okay, I was born in Zion. I think that's the best way. Maybe that's a new term that needs to come out. Children of Zion. Like people, they already had that stuff. And I'll find that, like I said, you go to like deep hood. And when I say deep hood, like a project or a very poor area or something like that. And this is not even just a black thing, but I've seen this with whites who grew up like very poor. They just seen everything. Ain't nothing you can fuck with them more. It's like you see something like, oh, okay. In fact, people who grow up in the area one way or the other, they tend to be able to read people very well for that reason. So, anyway, I just wanted to share that because, especially for the guys who, that really, you gone through it and, I feel for you. I feel for you. Have your worldview shattered. But, like I said, with me, I've never had that worldview. I always saw women as what they were, and it is what it is. It's like, to me, it's nature. Like, you don't get mad at, you don't get mad at the bear for what it does. It's its nature. You just live with it. You just understand it. And, you either work around it, work with it, or avoid it, whatever. But you understand it, you accept it, and you don't carry any anger. Because I think that's the main thing I would say. Fellas, when you get that rage, let it go through your system, but don't hold on to it. Because that's one thing. I see too many dudes hold on to it, and that shit ain't hurting the women at all. Don't think for a second that's hurting the women. you only hurting yourself. Let it out, hit some pillows, go find a punching bag, something like that. Avoid women for a month, 2 months, whatever. But let that fever burn out your system, man. Seriously. They are what they are, good and bad. So, anyway, I just had to share this. I'm going to talk to y'all later. Peace.